I am Maria Garcia de Fleury. Saint Clare of Assisi, born in the 13th century, and at the age of 18, followed the teachings and the path of poverty of Saint Francis of Assisi, renouncing a life of comfort to found the Order of the Poor Clares, a female branch of the Franciscan order dedicated to the contemplative life and poverty. One day, St. Francis was immersed in adoration of Christ in the Eucharist, and a friend approached him and asked, "What are you doing during those long hours before the Blessed Sacrament?" St. Francis replied, "Let me ask you first, what does the poor man do at the gate of the rich man, the sick man before his doctor, the thirsty man by a crystal clear stream? What they do, I do before the Eucharistic God. I pray, I worship, I love." St. Clare of Assisi, following the example of St. Francis, also had a profound devotion to Christ in the Eucharist. She kept the Blessed Sacrament reserved in a ciborium a few steps from her small room in the monastery. In one of her writings, she said, "Contemplate him, consider him, imitate him." In 1240, the Roman Emperor Frederick II was at war with Pope Innocent IV and the Papal States. One of his troops, made up of paid Saracens, reached the walls of the convent of the Poor Clares of San Damiano, located on the outskirts of the city of Assisi. The nuns saw the soldiers scaling the convent's outer walls and were terrified. They warned St. Clare of what was happening, as she was the superior. At that time, 46-year-old Clare was sick in bed and very frail. Facing danger, she crawled toward the Blessed Sacrament and prostrated herself, saying, "Look, my Lord, is it possible that you want to deliver your defenseless servants, whom I have raised for love of you, into the hands of pagans? I beg you, Lord, protect the servants of yours, whom I cannot save alone now." Suddenly, she and the sisters heard a clear, audible voice saying, "I will always protect you." Clare stood up and carried the ciborium containing the Blessed Sacrament to the convent doors, bravely opening them to the approaching Saracens. She raised the ciborium containing the Blessed Sacrament, and those who seemed like brave and bloodthirsty soldiers, upon seeing the Blessed Sacrament, turned around in terror, abandoning their attack. We may never know what those soldiers ready to attack the convent saw, but undoubtedly the presence of the Eucharistic Christ had a profound effect on them, sowing terror in their hearts and causing them to flee in terror. For much of the last 27 years of her religious life, since she died at the age of 59, St. Clare was ill in bed. However, her life, marked by simplicity, joy, and trust in divine providence, is an inspiration to find meaning and purpose in our own lives, despite the difficulties and challenges we might find. Her example of love for Christ, for our Blessed Mother, her dedication to the most in need, her courage in following her ideas are a source of hope and motivation for those who seek an authentic and committed path and find in her path of hope personal and social transformation that leads to God. And with God, we always win.